What's going on, people? Welcome back to the United Stand. My name is Mars, and yes, I know what is going on. I thought this was a 10 a.m. show. It's 10:30. What's that? Like, I know everyone's like, oh my gosh, like, I know people probably blaming Mark in here. It's not Mark's fault. Yeah, it's not Mark's fault. I am back though. I know I was here a few times last week, covering for obviously the Dublin show and everything that was going on, but I am back. But yes, it's my apologies for being late. I had an actual nightmare this morning, but I mean, look, these kind of things happen. You can't really control them. But look, I am here. It is a 10:30 show, something different. I let you guys have a little bit of a lie-in, you know. If someone, you know, decided to sleep in this morning, look, you're lucky. The show's starting now. You're just in time. Let's get on with the show and let's talk a little bit about Manchester United. Now, look, there's a few stories that I want to talk about because this morning, looking through, in fact, there's one big story, and you probably saw it on the title and the thumbnail about Jaden Sancho. Now, we're going to get into that conversation, but there's also other news about Justin Kluivert, another, you know, attacking player for Bournemouth. We're going to talk a little bit about him and his links to United. Trincão, another player who Amorim's obviously worked with at Sporting. His, you know, conversations about him potentially, you know, not say coming to United, but you know, rumours. There's always rumours around certain players at Manchester United. And also Osimhen. We've got some more news and some more information about Osimhen and a couple other things in there about Manchester United. So make sure you're sending in your super chats. Let's get loads of different super chats in. Let's get loads of topics running. We're going to have loads of that nice interaction, conversation and debates. And yeah, let's get straight into the show. Now look, Jaden Sancho. How many times are we going to talk about Jaden Sancho? I feel like the conversation around him it always seems to find its way back to United. I'll be honest, I thought when he went to Chelsea, that was it. I just thought, you know what, they've got Chelsea now. He's their problem. Yeah, I think we pay some of his wages. We probably do pay some of his wages, but they have to buy him. Like, Chelsea have to buy him. Surely, like, you know, it's in the clause, Chelsea 25 million, end of the season, they have to go and buy him. That's not the case. That is not the case. Apparently, this is what I'm hearing. It's not the case. So the news that I've got around Jaden Sancho is Chelsea are still expected to sign Jaden Sancho on a permanent deal this summer. Obviously, that's despite having a £5 million get-out clause. I think the interesting part in that is that last bit, a £5 million get-out clause. Now, I'll be so honest, I didn't even know that existed. I remember I feel like we were so just like, you know, yeah, thank you, Chelsea, for taking us off, you know, taking him off our hands. No one realised that there was a £5 million get-out clause at the end of the season. If Chelsea want to they don't want him no more, they don't feel like he fits the team. You know, Enzo probably just might think there's other players better in his position. If they want to, there is a £5 million get-out clause. Now, bear in mind, Chelsea buy everyone. Yeah, Chelsea are not the kind of club to just keep a player for the sake of keeping them. If Chelsea want to get rid of a player, they will do that. And they'll bring in another 5 players to replace that player. The way I'm looking at it is, even though, yes, in that report, I think it was from Sky, even though it says Chelsea are still expected to pay for 25 million, I genuinely feel like at the end of the season, if it came down to it and Chelsea decided, you know what, we actually don't want him or he doesn't fit the team, they will just pay the 5 million and he's back to United. And now that doesn't say, oh, he has to play for us or he has to come back in the team and whatnot, because we could end up just, you know, selling him on somewhere else or put him on loan somewhere else. But the reality is, if Chelsea want to, they can sell him back to us for £5 million. Or, they're not saying sell him back to us, but they can get out of their clause for £5 million. Now, let me know in the comments right now, because I know that a lot of people are thinking, what? Because when I saw this news, I was the same thing. I was thinking, when on earth did this happen? Like, why did no one tell me about this before? But yes, this is the news that's coming out. Let me know in the comments. I feel like this will be a landslide anyway. I was going to say, let me know if you would actually take Sancho back. But let's be honest, like, I don't think a lot of fans would, considering just I feel like there's a bit of a negative energy just around, not around Sancho as a person, because I don't know him personally, but with him and United, the relationship just seems to have been broken. And all the things that he's gone through with Ten Hag, I know Ten Hag's not here, but him, you know, having to, you know, train with the under 18s or something like that, or him not being allowed in the canteen. If I'm Sancho, I'm probably not going to come back here with 100% effort, 100% determination to take us back to where we need to be. And I feel like that's the kind of players that we need to bring into the team. We need, if anyone's going to come into the team, if anyone's going to be an addition to the team, we need a certain mentality, a certain type of player, not just ability-wise, but just mentality-wise to be in this team if we're really going to want to get back to where we want to be. And I just don't feel like Sancho at this moment in time is that kind of player. So yes, me personally, I wouldn't take Sancho back. But let me know in the comments or in the chat, would you take Sancho back? Let me know, because there's probably a few people that are thinking, you know what, fair enough, maybe he could be a good addition. There's probably a couple of people you might think that. I know, in fact, Ricky definitely thinks he's a decent player, probably better than some of our players. I know Osimhen as well, if you know Osimhen from the United stand. He also is a fan of Sancho, a big fan of Sancho, because in our fans forum group chat, yeah, whenever Sancho does something, you know Osimhen's going to put it in the chat. You know Osimhen's going to let people know, look, Sancho had a good game here. 7.5 rating on Football, or you know what I mean, or a nice little assist. But let me know in chat, what do you actually think about Sancho potentially having to come back to United? Super chat here from Lee, Cape Town. Hi Mark, it's my middle name. No, I'm joking. Hi Mark, hope you well. Question to the room: why is everyone slagging Sancho off? I said from the get-go, he's not physically strong enough for the Prem. I think it's harsh to say that he's not good enough for the Prem. I just don't think he's good enough for a top team. Like, there's so many players who play for mid-table teams or bottom half, you know, like just above relegation or even relegation battling teams, who, if they were to go to a big club, they struggle. I mean, look at Zaha. Zaha's one of the, in my opinion, one of the most exciting, one of the best wingers that we've seen over the past 10 years or so, or like whenever he came, like 10, 15 years or so. When he came to United, he struggled. He struggled because the level that he came to was a much higher level than what he was used to at Crystal Palace. And there's loads of players that happens to. They come to a bigger club and it doesn't work out. But if they were to play for a mid-table team, like around that area, they're very good players and they suit that kind of pressure and them kind of expectations, them standards a lot more. I feel like if Sancho was to play in the Premier League, from what I've seen so far, he's not at the level right now to play for, let's just say, a top 6 team, like a team that's actually trying to win most of their games or compete for big trophies. From what I've seen from Sancho, in my opinion, he's not, right now, he's not at that level. Yes, you could talk about his Dortmund days, which was 4 years ago, maybe now, 4 years ago, 3-4 years ago. Yes, at that moment in time, 100% Sancho, probably one of the most exciting young players in the league, or not in the league, in the world. I mean, his statistics at the time were crazy. I mean, he was getting like 20 goals, not 20 goals, but like 20 assists a season, and you know, really like high stats, and he was doing very well for a good Dortmund team as well, who also had Jude Bellingham in that team and Haaland. But I feel like since he's come to the Premier League, I haven't seen that Sancho in a very long time. I haven't seen that Sancho in, like I said, and probably since he came from Dortmund. So to say he's not physically strong enough for the Prem, I just think he's not good enough for a top team, like a big team in the Premier League. It's a lot of pressure. Some players don't really like adapt well to that kind of pressure, and they kind of crumble, in my opinion. But yeah, let me know. So put over super chats in here. We want to super chat from Vivek Lamba. We want to send Sancho back after his free trial. Oh, you're a Chelsea fan. He's got a Chelsea badge. We want to send Sancho back after his free trial. I'll be honest, yeah, from speaking to a lot of Chelsea fans as well, they're not happy with him as well. A lot of them are not happy with him. They're not convinced that he's like a full-on, you know, starter for them, or that he makes the biggest impact in their team. I mean, if you look at the other players that are in Chelsea's team, I mean, they just went and bought Kenda, 17-year-old player that we wanted from Sporting. He's going to be playing on the left. I know he's most likely going to be playing as the left winger. So that's another player in Sancho's position. They've obviously got Pedro Neto. They've got Madueke on the other side. They've got, who else have they got? A bunch of other players. You know, Chelsea have got so many wingers on that team. Mudryk, all those other guys. So the reality is that the competition is difficult, and he hasn't really proven himself in the Premier League to say, you know what, I should be able to start in this team. And we know what Enzo's like. Anyone who actually knows football knows what Enzo's like. Enzo will drop a player like it's nothing. Look what he did to Sterling. Sterling came through, came to Chelsea. Everyone thought Sterling was just going to be a starter or whatever. Enzo said, no, I don't want you in my team. You're not part of my plans. I don't care what you've done at City or whatever. I don't want you in my team. And look up to Sterling. So there's not really a lot to say that Sancho has a lot of backing in this Chelsea team. Super chat from David McCarthy. Happy to see the freedom is treating him well. Yeah, that was probably the worst comment he's ever made. I'll be honest, it did not. That definitely backfired a lot. And the crazy thing is, it probably helped Rashford, because Rashford's gone on to get back in the England team. And yeah, the freedom, it's not really freedom, is it? Super chat from the Duke. If 50 million should be spent this summer, Euro, Hudson, Haven should be our future. Martinez beside Ugarte, rotation on and off the ball, it would be pressure. So 50 million should be spent this summer. Euro, obviously Dean Hudson from Bournemouth and Aiden Heaven. Look, I've already said, yeah, my thing is De Ligt is probably our best centre-back. And he's at a very good age right now in terms of, entering into his prime and physically, he's an experienced player. To me, if we can, and if, I've got a name, De Ligt can continue to improve and progress, he should be our starting centre-back for at least the next 5 to 7, 8 years, in my opinion. He should be the first name in that centre-back team sheet for the foreseeable future. If we let's just say United were to win a Premier League in 4 years, maybe, I don't know, 3 years, 5 years, I don't know. But let's say we were to win a Premier League in the next 3 to 5 years, De Ligt will be a starter in that team, 100%. So the way I'm looking at it is, if you are going to bring in a player like Hudson, he's not going to play over De Ligt. He's not going to play over Euro. Probably won't play over Martinez. And Aiden Heaven is a shining talent, so I want to see him in the next 3 to 5 years definitely get more into the team, maybe even be a starter by that time. Where would you put Dean Hudson? Because great player, great young player. I like him a lot. I always get surprised when I see him play for Spain because I just think he's like some local lad from like down the road or in Manchester or something. But he's a Spanish player. So I think he's born there or he's kind of raised there. But great player. I just don't see where he fits into this team right now, and I don't think we'd spend 50 million on a player like him if we weren't going to start him. Martinez beside Ugarte. Martinez beside Ugarte. Martinez beside Ugarte, as in midfield. Rotation on and off the ball would be pressure. Maybe that's just I don't know. That could work. I don't know. Kyle Robertson couldn't sell Sancho to Aldi, let alone Saudi. Yeah. You know what? What I will say is, if they do pay that 5 million, I'm not sure how long he's got left on his contract. I don't think it's that long, though. I don't think it is that long on his contract. It is going to have to be on a broad sell. I don't think it's going to be easy for us to be able to, get a good price out of him or get some good money for him in the Premier League. I don't see many Premier League teams paying a decent, like 25. I don't actually see a lot of teams paying 25 million. If Chelsea don't do it, like I said, maybe one of the bottom half teams or like a mid-table team, but I don't think Sancho will do that. I feel like if we are going to send him, it's going to have to be abroad, maybe back to the Bundesliga. I know, well, Dortmund kind of sent him back actually, to be fair, so I don't know if Dortmund are going to take him. Other than that, maybe La Liga, maybe League One, I don't know, I'm not too sure, but we'd have to find someone. Saudi would be interesting, because I know Saudi want everyone. Well, I say that they want certain players, but maybe he could do well at Saudi. Yeah, it's a year left on his contract, so we'll see. He might. Can I see him stay in? I highly doubt it. I just highly doubt I see him stay in. Let's just hope that Chelsea just take the 25 million. Just take the 25 or pay the 25 million. Pay 25 mil. We'll put that on our books. Yes, we probably lost about 50 million on that sale because we bought him for about 72, 75. We'll just have to take that loss and hope that we don't make that mistake in the future. But yeah, that's the information on Jaden Sancho. Any other comments or topics that you want to speak about Jaden Sancho, let me know in the chat or in the super chats. And yeah, we will discuss them later on in the show. But look, let's move on. There's quite a few things in this show that I want to talk about. Next conversation is about a particular player that Ruben Amorim, I mentioned him at the start of the show, but Ruben Amorim has been looking at and has actually made comments about him potentially wanting him back in the team. And that player is Sporting's Francisco Trincão. Now, Trincão is naturally, obviously he was a right-sided player, more like I'd say a right, if he was to play on the 4-3-3, he'd play on the right side, so he plays like a right winger. But obviously in the system, he plays a right-sided 10, and that is obviously how he played for Ruben Amorim when Amorim was the manager of Sporting. So the main thing that I want to actually talk about with this is I'm getting very much Eric Ten Hag vibes right now. I don't know about you guys, but I'm getting Ten Hag vibes in the sense of, why does it feel like we're always getting linked to Amorim's ex-players? Like, I just feel like this isn't the first time, it's not the second time, it's not the third time. I feel like we've seen about 4 players now. We've seen Gyökeres, we've seen Kenda, we've seen now Trincão. We've seen, obviously, Ugarte came before, to be fair. But we've seen quite a few players now, and it feels like we're constantly getting linked to ex-Amorim players. And not to say that those players are bad, because they're not. They're obviously very good players. They did well in the Champions League. They obviously won the league. They were unbeaten before Amorim left, so they were doing very, very well in the league. but so was Ajax, you know, and one of the problems that we actually had at United in the past few years under Ten Hag is him bringing players from Ajax who did very well at Ajax, were great players for Ten Hag on Ajax, but when they've come to United, they've not performed as well. Now, like I said, not to say that's going to happen or Trincão's going to be a flop or Gyökeres or even Kendo or any of the other players that have been linked to from Sporting, but I just don't understand why we can't go out and just find players that might not have played for Amorim, but just still suit his system, but are still Amorim-style players, but they're just not his ex-players. Because Ajax is probably a better team, or they might, okay, I don't know. Let me not even pretend that I know in it, but I'm just assuming anyway. Ajax were at least on the same level when Ten Hag was there, or maybe better than that Sporting team. Maybe. They were similar levels. They both won the league. They both done well in the Champions League, so I'd put them on a similar level. A lot of people complain, like I said, about Ten Hag constantly going back to Ajax and trying to find his old players and trying to build pretty much a whole Ajax team. Brought in Onana, brought in Martinez, brought in Anthony. Who else did he bring in? He brought in, I can't remember, but he brought in a bunch of players from Ajax. If we go and do the same thing with with Amorim, and bring in a bunch of Sporting players and they don't work out, are we going to use the same excuse, or are we going to say, well, why haven't we learned from our own mistakes? Why don't we go out and find new players, like I said, who just suit the system, who are Amorim-style players, who have the particular player profile that Amorim wants, but are not necessarily a Sporting player? I don't know. That's just what I don't know. I think about, you know, when it comes to constantly getting old ex-players from a manager. Now, not just in saying that, Trincão's a very good player. Very good player. He's had links. The reality is he's probably going to get sold this year or this summer. Probably going to come to the Premier League. I've heard Tottenham are looking at him. I've heard other Premier League teams are looking at him. But I don't know. Let me know. Do you think that you want to go for a certain player that Amorim's already looked at, especially considering his price tag? He's probably going to go for about 50 million. Let's be honest, at least 50 million. Maybe even more. You never know. He might go for even more than that. But he's going to go for a decent price tag. So is he the kind of player that you want to go for, especially considering the amount of 10s that we've been looking at? I mean, we spoke about 5 of them already in the past week. He's another one to that list. Let me go through a couple of super chats here. Super chat from Drip Football. I will play Hudson centre back. He's better than De Ligt on the ball. He will help us massively in the build-up. So you would take Dean Hudson, great player by the way, like I said, great player, great young player, but you would take him over De Ligt. In my opinion, De Ligt is the starting centre back for United right now. We haven't got a better centre back right now than De Ligt. Whether it's a right side centre back, left side centre back, or central centre back, we haven't got a better centre back than De Ligt. So for me, replacing De Ligt makes no sense. I don't know. That's just how I see it. And if Euro and Aiden Heaven are the future, surely they're kind of players that you're expecting to start in the next 3 to 5 years. I don't know. Let me know in the comments if you think you take Dean Hudson at United. Super chat from Michael Doherty. Great show, Maud. Hope that your dramas this morning were nothing too serious. Thanks to TRS and the community. Don't worry. No. it's all sorted now. Super chat from Shane O'Hara. Sorry, I'm going to Shane. Have we lost 2 mil this year because we still pay some of his wages? 7 mil, it's a mess. Yeah, we definitely have paid a lot of his wages. Someone do the calculations, actually. I'm pretty sure we pay, how much do we pay? What percentage do we pay of Sancho's wages? I know he's on like something crazy like 250 or like 300k, which is crazy to say, but I'm pretty sure we pay a decent amount. Let me know how much we actually paid on Sancho's wages, because if we have to pay those same wages again for the next year, as in like if Chelsea paid that 5 million, we take him back, send him on loan again, we're just wasting money. It's just a lot of money just spent for no reason. Chelsea pay 105 million, I guess. De Ligt is a warrior. Keep sending your super chats. I'm looking for, the Trincão stuff, here it is. I just saw a chat about Trincão that was really interesting. I've lost it, but I'm gonna try and find it. But yeah, let me know about Trincão. Is he a player that you want to bring in that 10 position? Like I said, we have spoke recently in all the other shows that I've done about players like Angel Gomez. We spoke about even Jonathan David as technically, he could play as a 9, he could play as a 10, whichever one you want. Obviously, Ahmad is going to be back. Let's not forget about the players that we already have. We don't have to bring in, you know, players to replace everyone. Ahmad is still here, and he's definitely going to be our starting either right-sided 10 or right-sided wing-back, or, you know, right wing-back, but Ahmad will be there. Who else is there? We have spoken about a couple other players, even Xavi Simons. I'm hearing that name come up a few more times now. I've heard that recently. I know it's international break, so United United get linked to like 10 players over international break, because why not? You know, just we need news. Just throw a certain player's name at United and it'll make some news. But I've heard some Xavi Simons conversations. Obviously, Umbremo, Cunha, bunch of other players that have been linked to us in that 10 position. Who would be your favourite? Because there's so many players now that we're looking at. We're going to have to bring in one of them. And it's going to have to be someone who has a bit of experience. I mean, looking at the players that we are linked to, a lot of them are experienced players. Some of them Premier League experience, some of them experience in other leagues. But we're going to have to bring in one of them. So let me know who would be your favourite player to bring in. There's quite a few, so let me know which one would you say is the one that you'd want in that position. Now, another player who's going to be added to that list, another player that we're going to add to this number in this 10 list, is a Premier League player. He goes by the name of Justin Kluivert. Now, obviously, a lot of you probably know the last name, Kluivert, legendary player. Now, this season, Justin Kluivert, the son, he is having an amazing season. A great, I'm going to say breakthrough season, because I know it's not technically a breakthrough season, but this is the first season that I looked at him and I thought, you know what, he is here. He's here to stay. He's a Premier League proven player now. I mean, look, he's played 28 games, 12 goals and 6 assists. That is amazing stats, especially for a team like Bournemouth, who actually, are they exceeding my expectations? I think they're doing very well this season. I think, I would say they are exceeding my expectations, because Bournemouth are a team that I just see as a mid-table team, in my opinion. But what they are doing this season, I mean, there are a lot of teams who are in that conversation of, let's just say, 4th to 8th. Like around that area, you've got like your Brightons, your Fulhams, your not your Brightons, your Bournemouths, your Aston Villas, Cities. Don't run away, City. Don't run away. You're in that conversation now. You're in that conversation with those guys. You could fall back. You could fall behind. So City, you're in there, and Newcastle. So that's about 5 teams, maybe 5 or 6 teams. That are in that conversation of, like, they're not Arsenal or Liverpool. And Chelsea. Chelsea, another team in that conversation as well. But they're not Arsenal and Liverpool, but they're just in that mix. And in the next 10 games, however many games are left in the Premier League, there's about 10 games left. Any of them, in my opinion, can finish anywhere. Depending on who goes on the best run, if you go on an unbeaten run of you win your last 8 or 10 games, you can finish 3rd. You know, Nottingham Forest as well. I completely forgot about Nottingham Forest. There's actually so many teams that are in that debate right now. There's actually quite a lot of teams that can finish genuinely from 3rd to 8th. Maybe like Fulham. Fulham are in and around that 8th, 7th position, but there's so many teams around there. But Justin Kluivert has been so instrumental to not Nottingham Forest, to Bournemouth being a good team and being in that conversation this season. Like stats-wise, like I said, great player. He is your, I'd say he's like your modern day number 10. He's everything that you need from a number 10, but he's out to get goals. That's the main difference with Kluivert. Yes, he takes penalties. I know people like to, some reason, try and use that against him. I've heard a lot of people say, oh, you just scored a lot of penalties. At the end of the day, I always say this, you can't take away penalties from a player if they score them. But no one took penalties away from Lampard when he was scoring them every game. No one took them away from Gerrard when he was scoring them in Champions League finals. No one took them away from Ronaldo when he was scoring them in Champions League finals. So don't take them away from Bruno Fernandes. Don't take them away from Justin Kluivert. Don't take them away from Cole Palmer just because they're scoring them now. Penalties is part of the game. We've seen big players, great players, miss penalties in crucial moments. You have to be there and score them penalties to get your team over the line. It's a skill which not a lot of players have. And if you do have it, I think that is something that you should be rewarded, in my opinion. So I respect Justin Kluivert for scoring a lot of penalties this season. But outside of that anyway, he's just a great player. He's super, as in, when it comes to pressing, he presses like a number 9. He's like, sometimes you look at Justin Kluivert play, and I've seen Bournemouth play, you'd think he was a striker. Like, you'd think he was their out and out, just target number 9, but he's pretty much playing as a number 10. He can drift out to both flanks, whether it's on the right or the left. He can create play. Like I said, presses really well, great finish of the ball, finishes outside. His shooting ability is amazing. He can finish from literally anywhere, outside the box, inside the box, right foot, left foot. He's an amazing player. So he's a player that I would look at and think, you know what, if United were to go in for him, I wouldn't mind it. I genuinely wouldn't mind it. Where he would play, he could play in the 9, he could play in the 10. Like I said, Ahmad is going to be the guy in that right side of 10 position, so he would have to play like a left side of 10. Or like I said, he could play in the number 9 as well. He's got the ability to be able to do that. But he's another player that will be in that conversation. Let me know what you think about Justin Kluivert. Is he a player that you want to see at Manchester United or not? Super chat from the Duke. Hodgson to replace Maguire and Lindelof. Strong aerial presence and intelligence, but Martinez presence going forward has been very effective. Also, him there means he don't have to. This is such a difficult read. See, also him being there means he doesn't have to make last-minute harsh tackles in or near the box. Yeah, great super chat. I think, yeah, you make a good point in terms of the Maguire and Lindelof situation. Obviously, we are going to lose a couple of centre-backs. Johnny Evans, even though Johnny Evans hasn't played a lot this season, he's just another name to just be in that conversation. I think he's just another name on the team sheet if we needed him. But those 3 players, like I said, Maguire, Lindelof, and Johnny Evans, all being taken off the books now for next season, likely being taken off the books for next season. We are going to need to have another centre-back come in. You are right in that sense. And Dean Hodgson is a great young player. In my opinion, he's so good. I just don't want to see a player like that sit on the bench. That's just my only thing. I don't want to see him sit on the bench. I'd rather him go and play and be a starter for another team. That's how I look at it. I wouldn't want to just bring him into United just so he can be our rotation player, just to be on the bench just in case, I don't know, De Ligt gets injured or Martinez gets injured. I want to see him start for a Premier League team because he's good enough to do that. But in terms of like his effectiveness, his presence and intelligence, you are right. And his aerial duels, he's a tall player. You know, and he's still going to grow. He's still going to grow into his body, so he's going to get a lot more physical as he plays. But yeah, let me know, like I said before, about, what's he called? Justin Kluivert. What do you think about Justin Kluivert? Or, actually, let me do a poll. Let me do a poll on Justin Kluivert. I'm going to put 3 players in this poll. I'm going to put 3 players. I'm going to put Justin Kluivert, 3 Premier League players, 3 Premier League 10s that could come to United in the summer. Justin Kluivert, we're going to go Cunha, and we're going to go on Bremo. That's 3 very good players. Justin Kluivert, Bremo and Cunha. Let me know. Let's run that poll. Let's see who does everybody want. Let's just assume that they're all the same price. I don't know I don't actually know how much they're all going to cost. I feel like Bremo will cost the most. I feel like maybe, I don't know actually. Cunha might cost a lot as well, to be fair. But yeah, let me know, at those 3 players, who would you want the most? Justin Kluivert, Cunha, or Brian and Bremo? I think that's a good conversation. Who would I pick? I'm just such a fan of Cunha, I'll be so real. But I look at Bremo. I just think he's just a goal scorer. He's gonna get us. He's gonna get us what we need. He's gonna do exactly what we need him to do. He's gonna drift that way. He can play as like kind of more of even on a winger style. If he needed to, he can be a bit more direct, but then he can also play like a striker almost, get us some goals, and he can be creative. Oh, he's a unit. Like Bremo is that player. He's that player that we need. But then I just like the way Cunha looks on the ball. I just love his aesthetics, and just as a player profile, I like Cunha. I think it's difficult. I'm gonna go from Bremo. If we can get any of them, I'm gonna go from Bremo. That's the player that I would actually pick to be in. Yeah, I think I pick Bremo to be. If I pick anyone, those 3 players, I'm gonna go with Bremo. But let me know. Let's run up that poll. As many people vote in that poll as we can, and let's see who comes out on top. Who do we want to see? Out of those 3 players, who would you want to see come to Manchester United in the summer on a transfer? But look, let's move on to some more news. We've got some news here about another player that let's be honest, we've been talking about this guy for a very long time. We spoke about him last week in one of the 10 a.m. shows. We're speaking about him again. We're probably going to speak about him again tomorrow because he's just always linked to us. But the news is based on Victor Osimhen. Now this is from Laurie Whitwell. Now he says, in terms of what Manchester United want from a striker, I think Victor Osimhen would fit that bill. So I wonder what happens from there. The only thing is, The only thing is, Napoli, how much would they want for him? And would some kind of transfer swap make some kind of sense? Obviously, there's been interest from Alejandro Garnacho already. I wouldn't rule out something like that potentially happening. A swap deal for Garnacho and Osimhen. Now, obviously, there'd have to be some more money put to that deal. I doubt Napoli are just going to say, Osimhen, bye, we'll take Garnacho. Actually, you know what? Would they? Would Napoli do that? Do you think Napoli would just say, you know what, straight swap, we'll take the younger player, the player who we probably need in that position a bit more. I mean, Osimhen's probably never going to play a Napoli game ever again, so that's off the books regardless. Would Napoli say, you know what, straight swap deal, Garnacho and Osimhen? I think for the amount of money that they could get for Osimhen to sell them to another club, they wouldn't do that. I think they could easily sell him to even like an Arsenal, or maybe even like Saudi are always going to be in a conversation. You know, Saudi would pay for not anyone, but they would pay for a player like Osimhen. Would he go there? I doubt he would go there, because, you know, he's still got a lot to play for, in my opinion, in his career. And to me, Saudi's more of a, like, just go get a paycheck and come back when you feel like it. I don't see Osimhen going over there. But I'm trying to think. I would definitely take a swap deal. Would I definitely take a swap deal? I think this is interesting. Let me know in the comments. What would you do in that situation? You're United. You have the opportunity to take a swap deal, Osimhen and Garnacho. Would you do it? Would you make that business? Would you trade Garnacho? I'm thinking about it. I'm just thinking. It's an interesting one. Let me gather my thoughts, and I'm gonna read some of the chats. I'm gonna read a super chat, and I'm gonna see whether what you guys think. A lot of people saying bad deal, bad business on our end as well. That's interesting. But yeah, super chat from Simply Red. You think Sancho could do something in the left 10 with runners like Dargu running behind and providing an outlet, allowing him to exchange passes? Look, this is the thing about Sancho. Let's get this right. Sancho at his best would 1,000,000% do a job for Manchester United. 1,000,000%. Sancho at his best would be a player for us. He would be probably the ideal number 10 that we could have. I mean, just that if he was to come back to United and he was to just be the player that we thought we were going to bring in, or we thought that we did bring in when we got him from Dortmund for £72 million, he would be absolutely ideal in that left 10 position. I would not complain one bit. Like you said, Sancho he can play as that more winger, or he can play as that player kind of runs a little bit in behind, makes some late runs, or he can be a bit more direct. You know, his passing, his creativity to play to whether the striker is, whether it's Højlund or linking up with Xerxes, or if we go out and buy another player, the link up play with those players. And like you said, the link up with Dargu, running in behind, overlapping, dragging players away from Sancho, so he can be a bit more direct and have one-on-one situations and put defenders in a mix, in a blender, and just be that out-and-out attacker where he's creating and also potentially getting goals for us. Yes, Sancho would definitely do a job. That player doesn't exist. That's just the reality. I haven't seen that player in a while. Yes, he sometimes does that for Chelsea, here and there. It's not consistent. It's not consistent at all. If he was to come back, I would, you know what? If Amorim wants him, fair enough. I'm not going to complain what Amorim wants. If Amorim wants him, cool. But I just don't see that player that we think of Sancho. Sancho's, I'm going to say his peak, which is a bit peaked. It's sad to say that was his peak, because he was like 21 years old. To peak at 21 is a bit peak. No pun intended, but it's a bit sad. But that Sancho, if he was here, 100% I'd take him. But I just don't think we have that player there. I don't think we have that player available. Super chat from Mazrawawiwao. That's Kev's burner account, by the way, you didn't know. Højlund plus 40 million. Wow. Højlund plus 40 million. It's that simple. Højlund plus 40 million. I just don't see it happening. Yeah, I just don't see it happening. It's like because we bought Højlund for so much, to sell him already is a problem. Like, to sell him already for United is like, wow, we messed up bad. That's already one conversation. But to sell him and pay 40 million, that means Højlund has cost us 112 million He's cost 72 million plus 40. That means he's cost us 112 million pounds, and we've got Osimhen in exchange. And like, to me, it's like the money just doesn't add up. It doesn't add up. And as well, we kind of need another striker anyway. Like, even if we do go and get Osimhen, we still need a backup. Like, we can't just get rid of the only backup we have. We still need someone to be there. Yes, Chido is going to be in and around the team next season, but he's still not ready, let's be honest. He shouldn't be forced into this limelight. He's only being forced there because Harden's not played that great this season. But the reality is, Chido next season should be playing academy football, or at least, if you want to send him on loan, I'll firm that. If you want to send Chido on loan, fair enough. Or you want to just keep him in the academy, let him develop. But we're going to need another striker next season. So I would still keep Harden even if we do go and get an Osimhen. But yeah, let me know about Osimhen. Would you take that swap deal? Osimhen for Garnacho. Now that I've thought about it a little bit, I think I would take him. I think I would. On the basis of if we bring in another 10. If we bring in another 10 and we bring in Osimhen, I think I would do the swap deal. But my only problem is the fact that they don't play the same position. So if you swap a player in the 10 position for Osimhen, it's like, well, we're losing out. Even though we are gaining one place, we're losing out somewhere else. Because let's be honest, Garnacho has to play. Like right now, I'm talking about in the team right now, because of the options that we have, he has to play. Not because of he's warranted it or he's been so great this season. We just don't have that many players in his position to kind of for him to not play. We need a player there. So, and if we don't bring in another 10, let's say we bring in 110, he's still going to have to play. Because at any point next season, we can get an injury. At any point. We already know what United like right now. We know that the physio team and I don't really want to blame the nutritionist, but something's going wrong. I don't know if it's the massage people or who. Something's going wrong in the training grounds because everyone seems to be getting injured. So we're going to have some kind of injury next season. Garnacho's going to have to play at some point. He's going to have to be a starter, in my opinion. It's going to happen. So if we do lose Garnacho next season, we're going to have to bring in another 10, regardless of whether Osimhen comes in. So yeah, that's my only kind of stipulation when it comes to swapping or making that swap deal. But like I said, let me know in the comments what you think about that. I'm going to go back to the poll. Who would you prefer to sign in the summer? 1,292 votes. 18% Justin Kluivert, 67% say Cunha, and 15% say Mbeumo. Wow, so pretty much, in my opinion, that's a clean sweep for Cunha. The majority of people want to see Cunha come to Manchester United next season over a Kluivert and Mbeumo. I actually did vote for Mbeumo. I thought, in my opinion, I'd just rather him. It's difficult though. It's not like a clear slate. They are very much all like very near each other. If any of them were to come in, I wouldn't complain. Would not complain at all, but I can understand why you say Cunha, because like I said, he's probably one of my, if I were to go play by player who I looked at and thought he's actually my favourite player, or player that I look at and I think I like watching him, I would say Cunha. But just looking at Mbeumo and just the amount of goals he's getting and his effectiveness in that Brentford team, his impact in that team, even last season when Ivan Toney was struggling, well not struggling, just wasn't playing because he was, for whatever reason, we know the reason, but for whatever reason, Mbeumo was there, he was ready, big game player, scoring big goals for them, clutch goals for them. I just look at Mbeumo and just think, yeah, he's that guy. So, yeah, I think it's a debate though. It's a debate. Super chat from S Pen. We need a bench that doesn't weaken the team. Weaken the team. We need a bench that doesn't weaken the team. Yeah, you are. I mean, look, you win Premier Leagues by having depth. That's just the reality. Everyone knows that. We all know that. I mean, we're United fans. We've all seen United win the league. Even if you watched the last 2013 season, or we were there in '92 or 1968, whenever we won the league back then, we all watched United win the league, and we all know that the reason why we won the league is because of depth. We've had players come off the bench who could have started. Look, as in the sense of we won the league with a bunch of players who, for other teams, might not have been starting players. Let's be honest. We won the league with Tom Cleverley. We won a league with who else? We won a league with Saha. Great player, to be fair. Great player. But like Raphael, we won a league with a bunch of players, but because of the depth in the team, we could sub in any player. We could bring in a Darren Fletcher, a John O'Shea, whoever else. You need those kind of players, even though they might not be the best players, they might not be starting players, they might not even start for other top teams, but they do the job when they need to do the job. You need a strong bench. You need players to be able to, like I said, if there are injuries, if it's late in the game, other players are fatigued, it's later in the season, you're in multiple competitions, you're in a Champions League, you're competing for 2-3 trophies, you are going to need a strong bench. So you are right in that sense. We do need some players to kind of sit on the bench, be decent players, but sit on the bench and understand their role. That's one of the reasons why, in my opinion, Liverpool, in the past, even now, they are doing well now, but that 2019 Liverpool team did so well because their bench players did a great job. Origi, great job for them. Oxlade-Chamberlain did a great job for them. Shaqiri, did an amazing job for them. Those were the bench players who, even like James Milner, those kind of players who, they're reliable players. They're going to come off the bench and they're going to do the job. They're going to do what you need them to do. They're not just there to fill up the seats and just be there collecting a wage. They know their role. They know their responsibility. And when it comes down to it, when it's time to actually jump on the pitch, they're ready for it. So you are right. I think we do need a good bench. And that's why, even if we do bring in a starting player, let's just say a player like Garnacho, we are going to need him to just be on the bench as well. Just be on the bench, be someone who can be impactful for us in those, later in the season where we need to rotate a lot more. Like I said, whether it's cup games or last 15 minutes, 20 minutes here and there, or even 30 minutes. You might even start a game. We might come in at half time for injuries. We are going to need certain players to just stay at the club just so they can be good bench players. But yeah, good super chat. Another super chat from Simply Red. You think Sancho could do something in the... Oh, I already read that, sorry. I meant super chat from... I just saw one before, a new one. Yeah, super chat from David McCarthy. Garner, so underrated, 8 goals and 9 assists at Trenty. Huh? At Trenty on for 20... Oh, actual. What do you mean at Trenty? Garner, so underrated, 8 goals and 9 assists at Trenty. On for 20 GA season and saying he hasn't worried at the start. He's so underappreciated. I get it. I get it. The numbers, they are good. Are they good? I don't know. I look at Garnacho's numbers, and especially in the Premier League. Look, let me just read out Garnacho's numbers in the Premier League. He's got 4 goals and 1 assist in 28 games. We are talking about Premier League starters now because, like I said, if Garnacho was to start in a Carabao Cup game or even FA Cup games, I'm not complaining. I'm not complaining. It's good to have rotation. It's good to have other players get a lot of minutes in other competitions, fair enough. But the bread and butter is your Premier League, your Champions League. His stats in the Premier League, 4 goals and 1 assist, to me, that doesn't warrant a start. It doesn't warrant a start. And I do feel like we always say this, the potential and whatnot, and I do still believe that. I do still believe he has the ability to go on and be a much better player, and all the weaknesses in his game or the liabilities in his game, he has the potential to go and correct them and do better and just understand the game a bit more. Even his IQ, he's got the ability to learn the game of football and make better decisions on the pitch. That's something that you can develop over years of just playing football. But as of right now, he isn't good enough to start for a team that is competing for anything. Anything but valuable. Any Premier League, Champions League, any the major trophies, in my opinion. From what we want, for what United want and for where we want to get to, Garnacho isn't at that point yet. He might be in the future. We don't know yet. He might be, but as of right now, I don't think he is. Super chat from the Duke. We need to sign 2 defenders and 2 versatile midfielders and a striker. Injuries will always be a thing, so we need depth. Exactly. Great super chat. Exactly what the point I'm trying to make. We definitely need depth. And like I said before, signing players, depth is only good if you actually keep the players that you have already. I mean, if we go and sign a bunch of players, but then we go and sell like 6, if we go and sign 6 players but sell 6 players, we've just lost all the depth. We've lost a whole bunch of players that could have been in the team, in and around the team, but we sold them all. We've sold them all and just brought in a bunch of other players. It ruins the depth and it kind of hinders you later in the season. 2 defenders, yeah, possibly 2 defenders, 2 versatile midfielders. I think we definitely need. We might even need more than 2. I'll be honest. If you're taking into consideration the 2 10s and the 2 pivot midfielders, we might need more than 2. We might need more than 2 because Casemiro's not going to be. Well, I actually don't know Casemiro. He might just sit around for the next year, just chill and just earn 300 grand a week. I do the same thing, so I don't blame him. Eriksen won't be here next season. Yeah, that's really it. If we're going to count those 2 10s, we actually don't have a lot of options there as well. Right now, it's literally just Garnacho, Xerxes, Bruno, but Bruno isn't even really playing there anymore recently. So, yeah, we are going to need at least 2 midfielders, in my opinion. At least 2 midfielders and a striker, 100%. And I see a right wing back as well. I'd put that position in that conversation. Definitely. I didn't even put that top 3. I say a right wing back might be top 3, in my opinion, for positions that we need. But yeah, what is Trenty? Let me know what Trenty is, because I saw that before. As soon as you put that in the chat as well, what is Trenty? But yeah, let me know what other positions would you guys say we would need. Oh, Collier, I always forget about Collier, you know. He's a player that he's improving a lot as well on this season. And I think next season he will be actually impactful. Another player who, depth, if someone said to me, yeah, send Collier on loan, no, actually keep Collier. Because I feel like he's good enough to play for us right now. And right now it's more just about, you know, just refining certain parts of his game, you know, where he can improve on. But he's showing right now, you know, I can play Premier League football, I can play in certain competitions and do a good job. So Collier, another player that needs to stay in terms of depth and, for United next season. Now let's go on to, I've got a couple other things now. We've got a little bit of time left, but a couple of other things that I want to touch on. So the news is Manchester United will attempt to break double figures for permanent departures this summer amid yet another squad overhaul. Now this is all kind of related to what I was just speaking about, players coming in and obviously players going out. Double figures. Now let's actually go through it. Let's go through it in terms of departures. Because I know I'm going to miss out some players because my mind is I might forget a couple of players. But let's actually go through the departures and let's see who these that's 10 players. Let's see who they are. Now, Johnny Evans is obviously one of them. We've got Eriksen, free transfer. I mean, his contract's done, so he's going to be gone as a free agent. We've got, who else is going to be definitely leaving? I'm going to say, let's just put the loan players on there. So I'm going to put Rashford, Sancho and Anthony, 3 loan players. I think all 3 of them are probably going to be leaving. That's 5 so far. Now let's go. Let's say, who else are we looking at? That's probably going to be Johnny. Have you said Johnny Evans? Did I say? Oh, yeah, I said him at the start. Who else is definitely going to be leaving? So said Phil Jones. Eriksen. Have I put Eriksen in my list already? I feel like I put Eriksen in my list already. I feel like I'm going to start again because I've lost my mind. Lindelof. Good chat in there. Lindelof is definitely going to be leaving. Who else? We are saying double figures, so we need 4 more players in there. Casemiro, I don't think that's going to be as... Malacia, thank you for reminding me. Malacia definitely is going to be leaving. That's 7. I don't know about Casemiro. That's a debatable one, but we can put him on the list. That's 8. 2 more. 2 more players. Who do you think is going to be leaving? 2 more players to put that into double figures. Who do we think those other 2 players going to be? I've already said Anthony. Luke Shaw, I doubt it. I just doubt it. Even though a lot of people want him to leave, I doubt it. Onana, I doubt it. Dalot, I doubt it. There has to be 2 more players in this conversation who are going to be leaving. Unless we actually are looking at the Luke Shaws and the Mason Mount, no. Bayern there, good shout actually. Bayern there, he is a player who, yeah, because from what he's shown, he has the capability to be a first team player. He has a capability to be not first team, a starting player for another team. He will probably get a lot of offers in the summer from different teams that want to see him play. So Bayern there could be a player that might leave. Who else though? Who else? Let's just say that's Bayern there. 1 more. Mason Mount, no, he's not. I don't think he's gonna go. I just highly doubt it. And I don't even think another team will want to buy him because who's gonna want to buy a player that didn't even play for the last team he signed for? You know, like who's gonna want to do that? Maguire, good shout actually. Maguire's a player that could very well leave that season to be a starter for another team. That is 10 players actually. That is 10 players that could possibly leave. other than like, let's just say like the reserve players and whatnot, I'm not talking about like loan players or academy players or like teams that are in and around the first team. That is 10 players there, so that is interesting. Like we probably there is a huge chance that we could have 10 players walk out that door, which means, like I said before, I mean the whole conversation today has been about transfers, players coming in, players going out. We are going to need to, even though we are going to have a big squad overhaul, we are going to need to sign quite a few players in. We are going to need to replace those players. And bring some more players. Another another bit of news from the MEN is there is uncertainty. I mean, this is literally talking about buying that we literally just spoke about just then. There is uncertainty over the future of goalkeeper Altay Bayındır. He could seek regular football. He could seek regular football to increase his chances of starting for Turkey at the World Cup next year. United head coach Ruben Amorim also wants to recruit a new keeper. I mean, I literally just, I didn't even realise that was the news, I'll be honest. I just saw the news come up then. But I literally just what we spoke about, Bayern potentially leaving. And that is another interesting point, actually, the World Cup. A lot of players, we see this a lot, actually. A lot of players, when at the World Cup, when we come to the World Cup or we're coming up to the Euros, a lot of players think, if I want to get back into my national team, I need to fix up. I need to start playing regular football. I need to prove myself again, especially if it's difficult to get into their position. I mean, you look at someone like England, a team like England, there's certain positions that I feel like if you just have a good season, you can get into that position. Now, I feel like as a centre-back, if you have a good season, you could go to the World Cup with England as a centre-back. If you just have one good season. Because there's so many options, and there's nobody that I feel like's really stamped their name down in that certain position and said, I have to start. It could be a Mark Guehi, it could be a Dan Burn, it could be a John Stones, it could be a Tomori, it could be a bunch of other players that could fit in. I've seen Lewis Dunk start for England. Like, there's so many players that could end up playing for England in that centre position. But if you want to start as a striker, yeah, myth. Love it. Forget about it. In fact, go and check your parents' ancestry and better hope that they're from somewhere else. Because if you want to start as a striker for England, yeah, it's a bit of a problem. You know what I mean? Like, there's certain positions where you can actually fight as a player to get into your team if you just have a really good season. And there's other positions where, yeah, probably not. That's probably why Wan-Bissaka never had an opportunity to play for England. You know, players like Zaha never had an England cap, which is I think that's crazy. How good a player that Zaha was, never got England cap. Why? There was probably better players in the position. But yeah, look, I think in terms of like Bayern, he obviously wants to get back into that Turkish team. I'm not saying get back into the team, but he wants to definitely be a starting goalkeeper for the Turkish team. And I can understand if you're not playing regular team football, if you're just playing cups here and there, constantly being rotated, not playing the highest level, Premier League football, it is going to be difficult for him to kind of prove himself and say, look, this is how good I am and this is how good I can be for that Turkish team. So, yeah, it is going to be interesting to see what he does do in the summer. And if he does leave, I guess we're going to have to go out and buy another goalkeeper. It's a bit unfortunate because we did just bring in Onana literally a season ago, or yeah, the start last season. And we did bring in Bayern there again, like a year ago or 2 years ago. For us to now have to go out and look for another, potentially 2 goalkeepers now, because I don't think Onana is going to be here in the next 3 years. In my opinion, I gave up on Onana after the Brighton game. I don't know when Amorim's going to give up on him, but I gave up on him after the Brighton game. And I said, look, we might not sell him this year, but we will sell him eventually. And he won't be the starting goalkeeper for us when we eventually do go on to hit certain levels. So we're going to go out and look for another 2 goalkeepers now to come and be part of this United team, which is a bit unfortunate, but it's a position that you have to get it right. You have to get it right. You can't just sit around and hope that this goalkeeper gets good. No, if he's not good enough after a year, 2 years, you're gonna need to go out and find someone better. But yeah, look, we've been going for quite a while now, so that might be the end of the show. That might be the end of the show. Let me know any last super chats that you want to see, or any particular players that you think will be good in that 10 position, good in that goalkeeper position. Did I miss out any super chats? I don't think I did. Let me just double check. No, I didn't miss out any super chats. Yeah. So anyway, guys, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for voting in the polls, staying interactive. I love it when you guys send in the super chats and bringing in these different kinds of conversations so we can discuss them. Great show. Hopefully, I don't know when I'm going to be back on another show, but you might see me this week. But make sure you stay in tune with all the socials that I'll be putting out. Also, if you did miss, I'm not sure, it is on the YouTube. I think it came out yesterday, the Dublin show. It is on YouTube. I'm not sure if it's for members only, but it is. I feel like I saw it the other day anyway. I saw it the other day, the show, and I watched it through. Mark did like his monologue at the start. There was the performances from the guy from the script. I can't remember his name again. And then Beth and Ricky had their Bruno debate, which was hilarious because I just thought Ricky came in straight away and straight away mentioned Bruno not passing the ball and giving it away. I just thought that's typical Ricky, but that was a very, very funny. So make sure you go back and watch that show, the live Dublin show, if you didn't get a chance to obviously go there. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I'm gonna see you on the next show.